Hey everybody, Sinister Lex here, and today we're talking about creating space on Upwork or in your email responses. Before we do that, remember to rate, comment, subscribe, click that get notification bell if you want my notifications. Also, swing by the sinisterlex.com website. I got a question for you over there. Answer the question first, then fill out your name and email. That way I can track who said what, and we'll take it from there. There's a reason, I promise. Anyway, creating space with clients. So sometimes gigs don't go according to plan. You do a lot of work, the client comes back after you've submitted that work, and this could be through Upwork or any other place. They didn't like it, they don't like something about it, they gave you attitude. You responded, your first instinct is to read that message on your phone or whatever, rush to your keyboard and type out a fiery response. But that is not what to do. Okay, because if you do that, they're going to respond emotionally after that. They're primed to do that. They're going to respond emotionally. You're going to respond emotionally. It's going to degrade your whole experience until you end up with negative feedback and they go on their merry way. We don't want that. So anytime you get some snarky response from a client or some attitude response after you put in a lot of hard work for them, read it, but then stop. You can type out your response, but don't push enter. Do not push enter. Stop, okay? You need to create space. You need to create space. Give yourself some time. Back away from your keyboard. You don't want to send what you're about to send. It's too emotional. You need to send a rational, reasonable response. And the reason you need to do this is because every time you send a rational, reasonable response, you create leverage. You weigh the leverage in your favor because that client is they're going to send back an emotional response. Whatever you say that's rational, they're going to send back an emotional response. They might tell you you're an asshole. They might call you the biggest piece of shit ever. They're going to make direct attacks on you. And you're going to want to respond emotionally. But if you just don't do that, if you just create space, then by the time it comes around to you delivering the final work, there's no way they're not going to be able to give you bad feedback or a bad Yelp review or whatever. They're not going to be able to do it because if they did, they would face the risk that you might reveal exactly what they said, which could really hurt their business. You know, if this is a professional business that you're working with on Upwork or somewhere, and they've said all these things about you, and all this time you just focused on the issue, the core issue, because you created space, you gave yourself time to breathe and think reasonably. When you post that out there, that's going to make them look really, really bad, and they don't want that. So when you get a nasty response from a client about something you worked really hard on, the answer is simply to create space. Back away from your keyboard. Do not push enter. When you return to your keyboard, focus on the core issue. Do not make any attacks about the other person. Don't attack the other person's character. Don't say, you did this, you did that. If you have to say something like that, it should be, the company did this, the company did that. It's never about the person on the other side of the screen when it comes to responding to a personal attack, okay? I just want you to understand that before you send your response, stop, step back from the keyboard, create space, give yourself time, return when you've calmed down a little bit, type out a response that focuses only on the issues and send that. And each time you send a rational and reasonable response, that adds leverage in your favor. And each time they send their emotional response personally attacking you, it makes them look like a really shitty person and a really shitty company. And later on, they're not going to want that out there. And going beyond that, if for whatever reason you delivered the work and they didn't like it, and let's say you somehow ended up in court one day, well, this still plays in your favor because when you go in front of a judge and you show these messages, and you show where this person said this, 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 and this. Look at all these bad things they called me. Look at how terrible they were to work with. They were a nightmare client. And here's where I responded, and I said, here's the solution to this, and this, and this, and here's how we can address this. When you do that, the judge says, well, one of these people looks like a reasonable, rational, responsible person. One of these people looks like a fucking lunatic. And they're going to rule in favor of the rational and reasonable person. So that's all I got for you. Everybody out there, go to sinisterlex.com and fill out that question if you got a chance. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.